Hello and welcome to episode 214 of the Spotlight Games podcast. Today we're going to question Todd Howard's real height, as well as some Bethesda news, why Nintendo still isn't your uncle, and much, much more. I'm your host of this evening, the skankiest boy this side of the Mississippi, and purveyor of 2000s B-horror trash, your favorite dumpster boy, Cayman Doherty. And joining me on today's show, she has a kink for round, pudgy pink boys, and no, I'm not talking about Jake Twitchin'. I'm talking about Kirby, guys. One half of the Dynamic Dumpster Duo and 1/3 of the JK Games podcast. Dido's very own Jerica Hannah. Jerica, we are back doing it. Yeah.
I feel like I just need to take off my shirt, rip it apart every time you introduce me here. So like I just get so my heart is like, I wish you could hear it. I'm just so bricked, as the kids say.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I don't know.
You're bricked.
I'm bricked up.
We're bricked up. Speaking of bricked up, I'm not sure if I've shared, maybe I shared with the chat, the audience, my diagnosis. So over the last few months, we have been cataloging my bowel movements live on air because of my stomach issues. Well, we found out I have microscopic colitis. And so I'm on a high intensive steroid. And so what it does is it attacks the colon, and essentially the colitis I have is the white blood cells are like attacking something which is causing issues or something. Who knows what it is. It's how the body works. Either way, the steroid like attacks that. It's supposed to like slow digestion down. Well, here's the thing. So instead of me having to use the bathroom 20 plus times a day, I use it like once every 2 to 3 days. And I swear to God, I just empty out my entire large intestine. Like it's just my entire intestine essentially flushes out.
Are you there for a long time? Because I feel like that might be sort of nice. Like, do you want a little like one and done, or is this just like you can't stop it? It's ongoing.
It's horribly painful is the problem.
Okay. Oh yeah. All
but
right.
it
That's
is
not
like
fun.
it's like concrete, like a cinder block flying through.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh.
So,
well,
Control 29 says everything I know about the Dumpster Boys against my will. True. That's true. That's why you love me. It's because I break all the news down for you just like that. Like my body's news. Speaking of news, Jerica, how are you? Tell me some news about you.
I'm just texting my mother about the weather still. There's another one. Every time she texts me, by the way, this pre-show, I was just like, I got a text from my mom. It always happens around this same time when we're going live if I'm on Spotlight. And I don't want to tell her I'm podcasting because I feel like every time she texts, it's like at a podcast time. And I'm like, about to go live. And I really don't want to say that to her this time. I just want to keep talking. I don't know how long I can do this for, since we're like literally doing a show.
I mean, you can do it the whole show. I don't
just texting my mom.
I have a friend who calls me multiple times a week, but he always calls during dinner. It just always happens. He always calls during dinner. And I'm like, dude, and he's like, let me guess, you're having dinner. I'm like, well, maybe don't fucking call me between the hours of 6:30 and 7:30.
That's not a good time to call anyone. Like that's the last time I want to call anyone, communicate really at all, unless I guess I'm podcasting, but most part I'm chilling. I'm playing something.
Do you talk to your mother often?
We don't talk too often. We're texting. Yeah. We'll call once in a while. Like it's really a text to make sure we're each alive still, really.
Sure. Yeah.
Or the weather. If there's a tornado nearby, she'll text me then.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of tornadoes in where you are in the country. Yeah, I don't talk to my mom nearly enough. I feel bad. I feel like I'm at that age right now where like I probably should start texting my mom or calling my mom more often. There's like when you're growing up, you're like, I don't want to talk to my parents, but like I'm at that age where I'm like, yeah, I probably should.
Because you don't want like the last conversation. Sorry to get down, but you don't want it to be about the weather, or do you? Maybe that's sort of nice, know. Okay, I don't. Yeah. She might call since I'm not saying I'm podcasting, so if she does call, I'll just mute and I'll be back momentarily because I'll tell her then that I'm podcasting. But I'm doing good.
I mean, I would, yeah, good. Well, I'm glad that you're doing good. Jerica, what do you say about let's do a little housekeeping. What do you say about that? What do you think about that?
I hope you're ready to do that. I never do that, so.
Good. I'll do it. We have a whole lot of video game stuff to talk about because this is the Spotlight Games podcast, where each week we spotlight the latest and the greatest in the world of video games. You can get it by subscribing to our YouTube channel at Drop In Drop Out Pod, or by searching for Drop In Drop Out in your favorite podcast app. And hey, you can be on the show by tuning in as we record live Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern and Thursdays at 8:30 Eastern right here on twitch.tv/Drop In Drop Out Pod. So be sure to follow us there so that you're notified when we are going live. Also, you can join us in Discord. You'll know way more about us if you go to Discord too, because some members, that's how it goes. More housekeeping though. I want to talk a little bit about what we're doing in the universe. I'm naming this segment now called Across the Dido Universe. We're workshopping it, so maybe we're not settled on that name quite yet. Across the Dido Universe.
I like that. I can add a visual flair, like, a little rainbow or something,
Yep, workshopping. Across the,
reading rainbow-esque.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, something
Reading
magical.
Rainbow-esque. Jerica, you weren't on last night's episode of JK Games because you were going to be joining me live tonight.
Correct.
What did Josh and Kayla get up to yesterday?
They played 4 video games in an hour, I think. 4 indie multiplayer games, which we just posted to YouTube if you want to check it out. I think Gone. They played Overcooked 2.
Hell yeah.
And then what was the other one? I looked up a lot of art because I did the thumbnail, obviously, and the description, but I've already forgot the names.
I love that you did and you forgot everything.
One of those is like these 2 little guys are like on a pipe, like together, doing something together. Trying to work. They're on a pipe together, running.
Ship of Fools? Is it Ship of... Cause,
it's not that.
No. Roll Together.
There we go. That's it. Rolling. They're like walking on the pipe. Too? Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, I love that. This Thursday, Jerica, you're going to be back on Dido right here on twitch.tv/Drop-In-Drop-Out-Pod. You guys, so it'll be you, Kayla, and Josh, are going to be covering the No Skip devs. I'm very excited to see what you guys end up picking, because I feel like all the devs out there, there's got to be some stinkers. There's got to be one they just got one stinky game, Just one game that you're like, I don't know.
Or they've been amazing and they had that one game that just like made you want to like question everything. And can they recover?
That conversation. Correct, yes.
Are
we talking specifically about BioWare?
Maybe. Maybe.
And what's Cog up to? Last I heard, he's at FurryCon in New York City. So let's tune in live when he gets back. Because that's what I've heard. That's what I've heard. I don't think I'm allowed to actually say what he's doing.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it's top secret, I think.
Sure.
I don't know.
Probably still.
We'll let it build for next week or whenever he's back to share.
What do we think, Cogs? Chat, start giving me your best Cog personas, please. I want to know what the best Cog persona is. All right, well, that's enough about what we're doing in the Dido Discord. The Dido Universe. I already fucked up the name. Across the Dido Universe. See?
I
have to say it like that if I'm going to get it right. Let's dive into what we do every episode, or most every episode, and that's what we're playing. Jerica, I'm going to start with you tonight. What have you been... I kind of know what you've been up to, but tell me what you've been playing. Tell me what you've been playing, girl.
For probably like the last couple of months, if you've been paying attention to JK Games, we've replayed, I actually didn't replay. I replayed most of the game, but Dave the Diver, and then I went through and played in the Jungle DLC. So like back to back, like 2 months of Dave. I've just been diving as Dave for 2 months.
How do you feel about that?
It's got to be easily the best experience I've had so far in 2026.
It's been a shitty year.
It's been a really shitty year, but that phenomenal. It's really brightening my day. It's hard to pick right now. I've had more fun. Have I had more fun playing Pokopia or Dave the Diver at this point? Right now, they're neck and neck. I really have to go and look at like pros and cons and like what maybe is keeping. Which one's number 1? Which one's number 2? So far, those are the top 2 games of my year. The DLC for Dave the Diver, specifically, like Game of the Year qualifier in my book. So good.
Gotcha.
Where's Dave the Diver 3? I need it now. Like, I would literally go and play Dave the Diver 3 right now. And I've been playing so much Dave the Diver. The game's never ending. It never, but in a good way. There's 5 million types of games. You played Dave the Diver, right?
Yeah.
Have you played the DLC?
No, I haven't yet. My wife is very excited about it. This is something I want to pick up. My thing is, so one of the reasons why I'm a little like, I don't know, is I have this issue with, like, from my understanding, it's a massive DLC. Why did they not just release a second platinum trophy for the game? I have this problem of, like,
Really?
not wanting... Yeah, I have this problem of not going back to
Come
games
on.
once I platinum them.
Well,
Yeah.
Is there seriously like not another another thing to get with this for PlayStation? That's crazy.
No. I mean, there's more trophies. There's
That's
not another
surprising because there's a lot
Right.
to do in the DLC.
It's ostensibly like an entirely second game, which brings me to the point. Just give me a year. When do you think we're going to get a Dave the Diver 3 now?
What are they calling the Boncho game? I just call it the Boncho game.
I think it's just called Boncho, actually.
Is it coming out this year or next year? I think it's next year that's been dated. But with that coming out, I mean, it didn't take them long to get the DLC out. Like,
Did
not
you say
next
it
year.
didn't take them long to
No,
get the DLC out?
I don't think so,
believe
right?
that statement. I genuinely don't believe that statement.
When did Dave the Diver come out? Dave the Diver release date.
Dave the Diver release date.
If it's 2 years, that's pretty quick to me. I don't know how long it took him to make the game.
2023. So yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe it was. I swore
closer-
though that
it's
it was
closer
like
to-
was it
it
in
feels-
early access at any point?
I don't think so.
Interesting. All right, then maybe.
I felt the same way until I looked it up. That's why I was like, well, I have a horrible memory.
That's
Let me double
crazy.
check. But I was like, yeah. I mean, I could see another game coming into some situation. I want to go to space. I hope Dave's in space next. I want to put every IP in space next.
Let me ask you this: do you want Dave the Diver 2 to be in the same art style, or do you want it to be 3D? Do you have a preference one over the other?
Such a interesting question for this game because the art style sort of stayed similar, like pretty much in the DLC, but like there was enough like evolution for it, a little bit more
Right.
three-dimensional. Dave's going, forwards, backwards, like on land, but in the sea is 2D. I think I want them to keep that pixel aesthetic. Like I loved how the game's designed. Like I don't want them to change it. Like I'm interested to see how Boncho looks because that is a different art style and different type of game look, which a lot of their mini games have that look already. They're definitely, it's like the game's already a bag full of different types of styles, to be honest, like at different points. So, I mean, I think they keep with the base look for Dave. Yeah.
I have been very curious if it's even remotely possible to make a 16-bit third-person game.
Oh.
I don't know, just something to think about. It's probably not possible, but maybe.
Anything's possible. I think they could do anything.
Remind me, is Dave the Diver, is it 16 or 32-bit?
I don't fucking know. I don't know any
Doesn't
better.
fucking matter.
Are
It's all
you
the
counting
same.
those bits? You counting those bits?
I can't count at all.
Damn, what are we doing here?
We don't know. Jerica, you know what I've been playing?
What?
I took a time machine and back in time. And I've been having this thing. So I was playing Adventures of Elliot, and I got really far into the game.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I just paused for a second. I'm like, I just need something. My life sucks right now. I feel like I've been going through a lot of shit lately. And I was like, I just need some comfort food right now, And normally when I'm like that, I'm normally like, it's time to play Bulletstorm again. But I've already played Bulletstorm once this year because life has sucked that hard. I've already played one comfort game. I needed a second one. So I booted up Darksiders 2, the Definitive Edition, which they just get a re-release or like a release again of it on PlayStation 5. And honestly, this game still fucking rips. There's definitely some things that kind of like piss me off a little bit about the game of like, it feels a bit dated in its UI. And there's also just like some issues with like, there's no sprint button, which feels really weird for a game like this, that there wouldn't be a sprint button. Ultimately, though, it feels very good. It looks gorgeous. I love cell shaded artwork because I think that that is like one of the easiest games that you can, like, you can up-res that shit and it's gonna look fantastic every time. And if you haven't played Darksiders or Darksiders 2, essentially what happens is someone blows the trumpet that signs the end of the world and brings about the four horsemen of the apocalypse. Darksiders 1, you play as War. You uncover this big conspiracy, and it is like kind of like a Zelda-like, I would say, of like not a Metroidvania, but like a Zelda-like, where you will revisit areas when you have new powers and stuff, but it's third-person action game with like puzzle solving. Darksiders 2 did something different, and it went with like an open world. It's still third-person action game, but it's an open world like RPG essentially. So like you will collect loot and gear and like different weapons and things. So it's really interesting on like how you can build your character out. But you play as Death in Darksiders 2, which to me is like the best character. Darksiders 3 was a Souls-like, and then Darksiders Genesis, which is not Darksiders 4. That's apparently still coming sometime. Darksiders Genesis was like a spin-off where you got to play as Famine. I think it's Famine and War as like a twin stick shooter.
What?
Yeah, so they've changed like every time there's a new Darksiders, they just change the genre of game, which I think has always been a very interesting part about the series.
Yeah.
I highly recommend if anyone's like interested and you're like, well, I never played Darksiders. They just released the Darksiders 1, just got a remaster for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S. So, but I would say like if you really just want to dive in, you can get Darksiders 2 for like $5 right now. Like, it's a really fun game. To me, it's comfort food. It honestly is one of those games I forget exists, but I love it so much that I'm like, I told my wife, I was like, this is one of my favorite games of all time. And she's like, then why have you never talked about it, Cayman?
Valid question.
And I'm like, that's good. Yeah, that's fair. Because like, I forget things a lot.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't remember everything.
Yeah,
So,
same here.
You know? But Darksiders 2 is a great game. I love it. Jerica, did you ever play any of the Darksiders games? I feel like based on our conversation thus far, you have not.
No, and I really like anytime I see the box art or hear the name, like when you said it, it literally left my brain already. Because it just like
immediately, yeah.
It's one of those series that like I hear about it, but I heard about it when like the second one came out, and I was like, I don't want to. You know, there's a barrier to like being open to like going back and replaying a game. Like as soon as I hear a number like that I'm behind, I'm like, I don't know. And it's already like a tone of like, just, it looks like at the time Elden Ring was it out, but you know, it looks like one of those games. So I'm already a little based off the cover art. There's a sequel, there's a third one, you know, I just haven't taken the time to like see if it's something for myself, but like actually listening to you, I'm like, okay, I didn't realize what was really going on here. I didn't give it a fair shot. I have not given it a fair like shot at all.
I would say probably the closest I could probably pin this on would be like Darksiders 2 is very similar to like maybe a hybrid between like God of War 2 and Devil May Cry 4.
Okay.
So like it's a hack and slash game, but it has RPG elements thrown in, which I think that's what hooks me is like I love the loot portion of it of like I'm getting better loot. And my loot makes me look different. And that's, I think, the biggest thing.
That's
if
me.
If games have loot and I don't look different when I put on, like, new armor, I will stop playing your game. Like, legitimately, I need to see myself change in real time. I think you should give it a shot. And I would even go so far as to say, start with 2. If you're vibing with it, then go back and play 1. But I think 2 is where I think Darksiders is the best. But Darksiders 1 still is like a hidden gem. It's a sleeper game, I think, for people who like that type of game.
It's not like Mario Sunshine, is it? I keep hearing that about that one, and I don't know if I feel that way. You'll hear more about it on JK Games next week.
I'm excited to hear because I have very similar thoughts, I feel like, to you about Mario
People might
Sunshine.
hate it. People might hate me. It's okay.
They probably will. The internet is just full of vitriol. Jerica, have you been playing anything else outside of the thing that you are going to talk about next week on JK Games?
Me and Audrey started playing Mario Party last night. She's never played a Mario game like at all. Okay.
Who's your Mario Party character?
It depends on the day. I mean, I was Baby Bowser, the child, the baby. Pick. Yeah, I just like I thought it looked cute.
Audrey's pick?
Shy Guy last night.
It's my wife's pick.
Oh, yeah, I enjoyed.
I'm a Waluigi guy.
Waluigi, I can see that.
Always Waluigi. I love my
God
pelvic thrusts.
Jesus Christ!
He's a fucking pervert. How did she like it? How did she like Mario Party?
She had literally her first Mario game. Like for real, this is a pretty big deal.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was like, have you ever played Mario? I haven't played also. Like I have not played a new Mario Party since maybe the GameCube. So, I was just like, I just had an urge. We played it. We both had so much fucking fun. We played against the computers and we fucking hated them. Like we teamed up to take down a Goomba because that little piece of shit was just going after me. I don't know what the Nintendo AI bots had against me last night, but there's something conspiracy happening.
My wife's always like, let's play Mario Party, Cayman. And I'm like, I don't want to play Mario Party.
Let's play.
I don't want to play. She's like, let's play Mario Party, Cayman. I'm like, I don't want to play Mario Party. Why not? And then I'm like, fine, you know what? Let's play. And then I absolutely whoop her ass and still lose because of the fucking RNG stars at the end.
Fuck me, man. Where did that come from? That was new. I was like, oh, there's like little extra awards. Where does that come into play? That doesn't make any sense. Yeah. That's no skill. That's just luck. I feel like it's
Patrick. Patrick's RNG stars are the best.
I hate that. I don't like it. I don't like it either.
Because it takes away from me as being like, yes, if I beat your ass, then I should win. I shouldn't have to be like, just wait till the end of the game and then just lose after whooping everyone's ass.
Yeah, it feels horrible.
Have you heard of a game? Have you ever heard of a board game called Quirkle?
I mean, I feel like I've said that word before. What does that mean? Probably. What does it mean?
Okay. We'll talk on off air about Quirkle.
Oh, okay.
We'll talk. I'm addicted to Quirkle right now. Our whole friend group is addicted to Quirkle. I want to talk about one more thing, and it's not a video game, but it is video game related, and that is that I finally watched Exit 8, the movie. It's not called Exit 8, the movie, but it is a movie based on the video game Exit 8. If you don't know what Exit 8 is, Exit 8, I think, and someone please correct me if I'm wrong, was the video game that created the like anomalies genre of video game where like you walk down a corridor, if something's changed, you have to turn around and walk the other way. If nothing's changed, keep going, and then you get to like the next. And if you fuck up, then you go back to zero again. So a great game that I think is better than Exit 8 by like a country mile is The Cabin Factory, which we talked about, I think last week or the week before last on Hidden Gems, The Cabin Factory.
Me, Josh, and Kayla played it.
Hell yeah.
We love Cabin Factory.
I love Cabin Factory. So fucking scary. Exit 8, not really scary. It's got its little spooky moments. The movie is very cool. I quite enjoyed it, honestly. I think that it's a really interesting concept because I didn't know how they were going to do this. I was like, how the fuck are you going to take a game that's so simple like this, of you walking down a looping hallway for infinity, and make that into a movie? But they added some story elements in and added some really like interesting lore pieces that kind of flesh out that I thought, but it also leans heavy into the game itself, where like the character has like the sign at the beginning of the game. It's like, these are the instructions on how to win. So like, he just like has that in front of him. So he has to like read that off and figure out how to beat this game essentially, or get out of this loop. And I do think that there were some genuinely scary moments that were pretty cool, and there's some really good tension at times. I think the set design's really cool, and I watched it behind the scenes of like how it is like an actual loop that they made where like they were shooting like one shot.
That's
for
cool.
Multiple scenes, which is really cool. But yeah, it's on, if you have Shudder, which if you're a horror fan, I highly recommend getting Shudder. It's where some of the best horror films are dropping right now. It's on Shudder right now. It's cool. I don't know. I liked it. Like I said, I vibed out with it. I don't recommend playing the game, to be honest with you. I think the game is very rudimentary now. In the grand scope of these types of games, it feels very dated at this point. Obviously, it is kind of created a genre, but it's kind of like the way I look at it is like Cabin Factory is Fortnite and Exit 8 is PUBG. Where
Okay.
like there's a place and a time, but like maybe going back to that game is not the best, but do check the movie out. I do think that the movie's very cool, and that if you are a fan of horror games, or horror movies more specifically, I think you will enjoy this movie. It is interesting. What do you think about that, Jerica?
I like any story that seems like it originated on like creepypasta or No Sleep.
Yeah.
Like those are my favorite stories. So, but I haven't seen this one yet. It's been on my list. I just haven't gotten to it yet.
Do you subscribe to Shudder?
Yes, I do.
Good. It's on there right now. I do. Shudder is so like if it wasn't for Shudder, I don't know what I would do. I would just watch more Tubi.
You would shudder yourself up.
I'm like trying really hard. I had this thing going for a while where I was trying to get Talenti, the yogurt, like the frozen yogurt brand, or sorry, the frozen gelato brand. You know, Talenti.
Yeah.
Okay, so I had this thing going for a while where I was just every few days I was tweeting at Talenti, being like, "I'm your biggest fan. Here are all the tubs of the Talenti ice cream that are in my cabinet that I've saved to use as Tupperware containers. Please talk to me. Notice me, senpai." And they refused to. So I fucking tweeted at Tillamook. And I was like, I've now become a Tillamook girly because Talenti wouldn't talk to me. Talenti fucking tweets back at me and goes, "No, please come back."
Shut
And
up.
I was like,
this is
so
hilarious. What?
I've kind of been like, I did the same thing with Tubi, where every once in a while I'll just tweet at them and be like, "Hey Tubi, notice me." I've watched at least 1,000 movies on Tubi at this point in my lifetime. Please notice me. Please, actually, take that back. I haven't watched 1,000. I'm about to hit my 666th movie on Tubi.
Shut
I
up.
don't know what it's going to be, but it has to be special.
I can see the repercussions of doing that. Like I'm starting to see this. Maybe relate that back to your health a little bit, maybe. Because I don't think those movies are great. Have you watched a great movie on Tubi yet?
I have actually.
Oh wow. Okay, I take that back.
I found this movie called The Killing of Two Lovers.
Wow.
There was the movie with the guy that got booted from the Lethal Weapon TV show because he was too reckless. What is that guy's name? I don't know. Someone knows his name. He's he's in this movie about like it's him and his wife are separated, and she's like dating a new guy, and he's like having a meltdown over it. And it's a really good movie. If you like a real gut punch film, that movie's pretty fucking solid. But there's some good stuff on Tubi. Tubi's got some A24 stuff too. Yeah.
Okay.
Some of the weirder stuff that you can't find, like Minari and Lamb stuff that's just like not readily available. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So,
I like that movie. It was good. I enjoyed it.
You know. Okay, Trav Man and the Tubi is surprisingly good. It's true. It really is true.
Damn.
Tubi has, but they also
Sorry, I
have
was
bad
shitting on
things
it.
like Killer Thong.
Okay.
I have a letterbox list that's like Tubi Gone Wild, where it's all of the most insane shit that I found on Tubi and watched. And things like Killer Sofa and Killer Thong, Attack of the Sorority, or the Night of the Living Sorority Girls. You might like that one, Jerica, for obvious reasons.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew you're a big zombie fan from what I've heard.
Yes. Big one.
Big honkers.
Big honkers.
Ripping the Band-Aid off. Big honkers in that movie.
Big honkers.
Big honkers. I once wanted to make STC's tagline be brought to you by Tubi, but then I realized that we would get sued, so we didn't do that, but it was really fucking close. Enough about Tubi. What do we want to do? You want to talk about some news? Because we only have 3 stories, but they're 3 pretty big stories. So I'd say we just jump right in. So what do you say? We're going to start off tonight with the big talk of the town, and that is how tall we think Todd Howard is. Jerica, how tall do you think the man is?
Well, we've talked about this. I stood right beside him at a bar
Yeah.
and I asked for a photo. That was fun. And I'm 5'3", so I'm
Yeah.
not super tall. And I feel like we were about the same height. If anything, he maybe had an inch on me. Maybe.
So this is what someone did the math from one of the game awards, and they took Troy Baker's height, and then they did like some mathematics to figure out
I feel like
Troy
he is
Baker's
so
height.
tall.
Right, and then they determined that Todd Howard is 5'5".
Okay, so a
So-
couple inches on me. So I was
Right, so-
I was pretty close. Yeah.
Yeah, you're close. So take that into consideration with this next story. This is
Oh.
a note directly from Bethesda Game Studios. I'm just going to read this off. We love making these worlds as much as you love playing in them. Today we want to share what's next for Bethesda Game Studios and what you can expect from us in the years ahead. For 40 years, we've built games that have entertained almost 500 million players. More than just games, these are worlds for you to explore, shape, and make your own. Worlds we return to together. That's what's driving us forward. We're investing more deeply in the worlds players love, giving creators a bigger role in shaping their experiences, and bringing our teams closer together so we can get our games into your hands sooner, support them longer, and continue building them alongside you for decades to come. So now we get into the chunk of this. So I'm going to go ahead and read the first part, and that is Starfield continues. With over 17 million players logging almost 1 billion hours to date, Starfield remains an important part of our future. As we enter year 3, we'll continue expanding the settled systems with new stories, targeted gameplay improvements, and additional updates while preparing for the launch of the new Starborn content next year. More than 40% of players already customize their experience through creations. It will continue investing in creators and giving players new ways to make Starfield their own. Does this entice you at all, Jerica, knowing that they're giving more content to Starfield?
Yes, I enjoy Starfield. Like when it came to PlayStation, I did hop back on, and because I just really the biggest thing was just like seeing how the performance was. I think that was the thing that hindered it the most. Was just like, man, this thing's sort of tough to run. This thing struggled a little bit. Also, there's just a lot of cutscenes, a lot of loading screens just to get in the ship. There's a lot of like logistical things, obviously, but like really like once you sort of get in front of all that and get used to it, or at least like learn the shortcuts, like I got really lost in that game. Like I do think it might be a little bit of my like craving for a space RPG because we just haven't had a great one in a really long time. Is a Bethesda game my favorite RPG? No, but it was in space, and they did nail like a lot of missions and the aesthetic of the game. So like if there's new DLC and like it's getting good reviews, I'll hop back in.
Sure.
I just want to make sure it's something they're like putting some heart into when it comes to the story, because I feel like the first DLC was not that interesting to me and didn't feel like they I don't know, it just seemed a little thrown in, a little tossed in.
Do you think that we are going to get Starfield DLC or additional content to the PlayStation?
It's a good question. I think they sort of have to at this point, right? Like
so.
the game's there.
Yeah,
like I feel like there's some kind of agreement. Like if there's not, I could see them like not allowing that to happen. But I think if it helps them sell more copies of the game, they're gonna let it happen. But
Right.
who knows?
That means it's money on the table that they're missing out of, I think, at this point. So I'm there with you. This doesn't do a ton for me. Starfield was a game I really enjoyed until I didn't enjoy it anymore. And that was about 40 hours in. When I was like, yeah, this game is really janky. There's a bunch of bugs, and it's hindering my enjoyment. I got to the end of the story and then realized that, you just have to keep playing for more endings to get more into. And I was like, Patrick kept selling me. No, Patrick, I wasn't going to do it. So I didn't do it. I'm going to skip the part where they talk about created by players. Basically, they say here that there's construction sets and mods and things, and people
for free labor.
Creators have earned $10 million in royalties for their work. Cool.
I guess sort of not free labor, but
well, yeah, but I mean, kind of, honestly.
Kinda, yeah. I don't know. I've never gotten into that space, so yeah, we could definitely skip it. I don't know how anything. Can you make stuff for Starfield? Can you make stuff for Skyrim gaming? Do you know how to make those things? Yeah,
absolutely not.
We should try to do that sometime.
I'm a dipshit when it comes to really anything that involves really any sort of talent. I'm like a very small set of skills. One of them is making kombucha. Really, it's only making kombucha. That's like the only talent I have is kombucha making. But you know what? One day when the world ends and we all have to go back to our roots of like building community from nothing again, my one talent will be to make delicious beverages. And that's how I will barter is with delicious beverages. That's my end game right now. Because I will be homeless soon enough, I feel. Let's talk about the big thing here that people are all up in getting excited about, but also maybe not getting super excited about. This one's a catch-22, and that is the future of Fallout. So, here they say, Fallout is one of our biggest priorities today. Fallout 5 remains our long-range destination, and we have multiple Fallout projects in active development right now. Fallout 76 continues to be a home to millions of players exploring Appalachia together. With nearly 70 free updates released to date, the journey is far from over. In fact, we have a major Fallout 76 expansion planned for next year, Raven Rock, a prequel story to Fallout 3. Fallout 4, the most award-winning game in the franchise, just celebrated its 10-year anniversary and recently passed over 35 million copies sold, continuing to attract a new audience every year. We also know many players want to revisit previous Fallout experiences. While we're not announcing any dates today, we have been working on remasters for both Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. Fallout Shelter continues to be one of the most popular ways to experience Fallout on the go. With more than 250 million players, there's more ahead for Fallout Shelter, including new seasons. An unscripted Fallout Shelter television project is also in the works with our partners at Amazon Studios and Kilter Films. We'd like to congratulate Kilter Films and Amazon Studios on their 10 Emmy nominations for Fallout Season 2. Production on Season 3 is already underway, and while we won't host a traditional Fallout Day broadcast this year, we're already planning something special for Fallout's 30th anniversary in 2027, when Fallout Day will be celebrated live in Washington, D.C. Jerica.
Yeah.
Overarching thoughts here.
I could care less about that Fallout 76 game. I hopped in I played a little bit and it was cool, but I'm like, I just want a new Fallout game. I might want new Fallout more than I want a new Skyrim. I'll be honest. Like they keep throwing the show in my face, and I'm like, man, I really want to get back to that world. But when I boot up Fallout 4, I'm like, man, this is janky as hell. But like,
sucks.
Will any ever future Bethesda game not be janky and weird? But it's part of the charm. So. Sorry, that was a lot of rambling, but yeah.
No,
okay, I'm glad you're in agreement here.
Imagine though, like Fallout 5 has, because that's the one thing I will say about Starfield. Starfield's combat is not terrible.
It's pretty good. It's not bad.
Imagine Fallout 5 with Starfield's combat. I believe that will be good. I want to say that there was something that I missed in here that came out later that mentioned that Obsidian is going to be working in some capacity.
Yeah.
Is it the remaster for 3 maybe?
I feel like it's a remake. It might be a remake. Like surely, Obsidian, I already forgot the name. What was the last game? Outer Worlds 2, and then
right.
I want to say Awoken.
We know
Avowed. I was like Awoken.
Canceled, right? Yeah. There's no more Avowed games coming out, or Outer Worlds. Those IP have been.
I don't know why they just didn't work on one new IP. Work on something you're passionate about, and then work on a remake. I just want a Fallout remake at this point. I don't care which one. I just want one. Yes, that maybe performs and looks like Starfield a little bit in the current state that it's in.
Well, here's the thing. I'm very interested in the wording here where they say we've been working on remasters.
God, I hope they're just keeping it inside and say it's a remake.
Because I feel like Oblivion was like a hybrid between like a remaster and a remake.
It wasn't bad. That was actually pretty. That was a hybrid, and we haven't really seen a lot of those. I feel like, because I agree with that. So maybe that's what we get.
Right. Then I think the thing is with that though, with this particular situation, it's like Oblivion had issues from like a quality of life perspective that I think they fixed with Skyrim, but they didn't fix when they remade or remastered or did whatever with the remake. So it's like maybe people really want it, and I specifically say like the inventory system is still kind of shit, and the fact that the enemies level up with you. That is one of the things with RPGs. It's like an absolute, like, that's
Yeah.
like a mortal sin of RPGs is like, my characters shouldn't be fighting a boat fly or bot fly or whatever they're fucking called. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's like, I'm like walking around hitting a fly and I'm level 50 and it's whipping my ass.
Yeah.
Like, no, it should die immediately when it sees me. Like, that's how powerful I am. And like that, I think is my biggest issue with Oblivion, and that was something that they left in. So maybe it was like this is a feature, not a bug scenario. But yeah, I don't know. Like I think the Fallout 76, I put in some hours with COG. It was it was
Yeah.
fine. Fallout 4, to be honest with you, Fallout 4 was not a good game to me. I did not think it was a good game. I think it really started to show Bethesda's flaws in HD. I think Starfield showed them in 4K. So I am curious to see what that is. But, Jerica, I want to ask this. We are getting Fallout Day live from Washington, D.C. for the 30th anniversary. Fallout 3 takes place in D.C. Presumably that is when we are going to get the announcement or release date. Shadow drop, maybe. They shadow dropped Oblivion. So, like, what are we thinking there? Do you think we'll get it next year? We'll get that, or do you think they'll tell us more by end of year?
I'm hoping, like gut reaction. If I were them, like, hopefully this is a remake. Like the world needs the gamers are ready for a true, like, updated Fallout, and it doesn't need to be Fallout 5. Like, I think it would be just perfect if it's a remake, but the rest of the year is pretty thick. I don't think this game is out this year. I think that is a next year thing for sure.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like leaning towards like maybe it is a remake, because like there's no way that this is gonna fit anywhere for the rest of the year.
Right. No, that's a very valid point. I'm there with you, and it doesn't make sense, I think, for Bethesda with Starfield being where it is and them doing more content. I think it makes more sense for them to like put some more focus on Starfield for right now, at least. I think that lines up well being in DC on the 30th anniversary, going back to 3. There's a lot of symbolism there. Almost said symbology. I was gonna be fucking like strategery,
cool.
strategery, like fucking George W. honking Bush. You know what I mean? But here's the thing that I think is interesting, and I think this is going to paint a picture regarding when we may see Fallout 5 and Elder Scrolls 6, and that is, this is coming from Jez Corden at Windows Central. The article, the title is Bethesda confirms Fallout 5 and the Elder Scrolls 6 are built on new Creation Engine 3. Todd Howard explains the goal to give more power to devs and creators. So we're going to go ahead and just briefly burn through this. So one piece of news that might go under the radar here is a bit on Creation Engine 3, which Bethesda is developing specifically for Elder Scrolls 6 and Fallout 5. I recently caught up with Todd Howard to learn a bit more about how the studio is positioning Creation Engine 3, Creation Club, and how it's becoming an increasingly critical part of Bethesda's future. Creation Engine has been a bit controversial in some corners, with some gamers feeling it lacks the fidelity of engines like Unreal or the cinematic qualities of in-house engines like the RE engine. Creation Engine has always been more of a sandbox play in my view, designed for extensibility, first and foremost, in rapid iteration on huge-scale worlds. It's also designed for modding at its core, with Creation Club members earning over $10 million in revenue since the platform's inception. I caught up with Todd Howard recently to talk about a variety of topics, including how Creation Engine 3 is being leveraged in Fallout 5 and Elder Scrolls 6, and how he's thinking about the platform given the rise of Roblox and Minecraft's own platform extensible features. So this is Todd Howard. So, quote, when we build these worlds, it starts with the tech. A lot of people think engine, they think rendering, but there's so much more that goes on into it from a tool side and a system side, Todd explains. For the kind of worlds that we want to build, and also knowing that we are going to be doing Fallout 5 and just how we do those things simultaneously in a way where it's not start-stop, and we're really happy. I can't say enough about our tech team. It's just incredible. Our designers ask for so much crazy stuff, and our tech team finds a way to do it, and I think that's really defined our games, where you feel like anything is possible, end quote. Jerica, thoughts on Creation Engine 3, where that puts them in development time? I mean, they're building a brand new engine. And I mean, I guess Creation Engine 2 has been around for a bit.
I'm sure it's like,
the numbers
I mean, once again, we don't do math here. You can make kombucha. Right. I don't actually know if I have any special skills. I know I do, but I can't really think about them right now, but surely it's like an evolution for the engine, and it's not something that like isn't building from the ground up again.
Right.
What I do hope is maybe the next Bethesda new game, I can finally say, oh, wow, like this has everything about Bethesda, their DNA that I love, but what it, is respecting my time. There's not 50 million load screens. The NPCs don't look like weird puppets that have bad lips and weird, even sometimes weird dialogue. Like I would take like 100 incredible NPC interactions over like how many they want in their game, like 1,000, right? Like maybe there's some trade-off with that, with this kind of engine to where, I don't need, and this is a whole conversation for like development in the future, and hardware. How long are we staying in this generation? When's the next consoles coming? Like, I don't need. I am known to be like a graphical. I'm chasing the frames. Like, I love those things, but like there is a place where I can say this game looks so good, it is good enough. Like, I don't need. I just want good frame rates and no loading screens. Right. That's what I want, and we've had that from games from 5 years ago. Believe it or not, like. It's possible, so let's tone it back a bit. Can this engine be efficient for them where their game doesn't run like jank? Like, can we finally get to that place? And that's all I want. I want a game that looks decent enough, but doesn't, take 5 million years to get to the ship. And I want NPCs to actually look good. Not that they look bad. I just don't want them to look like puppets.
Sure.
Mass Effect Andromeda style, it's sort of the uncanny situation. I don't like it.
Yeah. So let me go and I'm going to throw some numbers out here for you. So first is that it took Bethesda roughly 5 years to develop Creation Engine 2. Creation Engine 2 was first launched with Starfield in 2023. Which it blows my mind that that game's 3 years old already. I don't believe that's accurate. So it took them 5 years of development. The game came out in 2023. They announced Creation Engine 2 in 2021. So it took 2 years from announcement to it being playable in Starfield. We are now in 2026, 3 years in. They're now announcing the announcement of Creation Engine 2. Makes me feel like if they stay on trajectory for what they are, like their track record so far, presumably Creation Engine 3 would be ready in 2028, and that would mean that probably the earliest that we see Fallout 5 or Elder Scrolls 6 will be 2028. Here's the thing, I don't believe we'll get it in 2028. I believe at the earliest 2029. Reason I say that is because, one, I do not think that tech right now, if they're building something that's supposed to be like significantly better than Creation Engine 2, it's not going to be able to be playable on modern consoles.
But what if the thing is efficiency, though? Like, I think there maybe could have been a pause in what this thing can do based on, I don't know, we're not going to be able to, people aren't going to be buying as many consoles. So that's what I'm hoping for, is like maybe this system is like Creation 2.0. Like, I don't know, 2.5. What do you call it? Upgrade to one thing, but they're calling it 3. Like, that's what I hope for. Like,
I mean, you might be right that 3 is just completely efficiency based. So like, just it's all of the bugs have been squashed. Which, like, if that's the case, then great. But like, I don't like Bethesda's not the type of developer to do that. They want to like redefine what things look like. They tried like, fidelity first.
They did for Starfield, and look what it did, though. Like, I don't think they can make those choices anymore. I don't think they get the ability with what, obviously they're probably they probably have the most confidence from Xbox higher ups right now. But like, I don't think they have a lot of wiggle room with making, not saying Starfield was a mistake, but it definitely wasn't the next Fallout. Like, there's not a show about Starfield. Sure. And you can even say the thing about like Skyrim. I know Skyrim's a really popular game, but I think like Fallout is like the thing that everyone chases.
Do you think Fallout 5 comes first?
there's a really good chance that there's something. Like I said, if it's not a remaster, there is like a smaller experience. Like, I just don't think they miss out on, if there's another season of the TV show, which I know we're not like connecting the dots, they're missing out. Because every time I watch the Fallout show, though, I pick up Fallout 4 every fucking time, and I just put it down because I'm like, ugh, I just want a new experience. So I don't know. I don't know the answer for that for sure on that one, but I'm sure they're thinking about it.
Sure. No. I think that this is a very interesting. I'm going to go ahead and do a segue into our third story, and then we'll circle back to 2, because I think right now it makes sense. And that is, everything is going to get more expensive. So this comes from Sharif Saeed over at Eurogamer. He's the article is, honestly, it's still getting worse. Valve Steam Machine engineer says component prices are still rising, potentially paving the way for a price increase. There is no end seemingly in sight for the memory crisis or of how much higher the price of consumer electronics could go. Valve, who recently shipped its expensive Steam Machine, has learned this the hard way. The result was a Steam Machine that cost $1,050 at minimum, a price Valve admitted was well above what it originally wanted, but things aren't getting any better, unfortunately. Current component prices are even more expensive than when Valve shipped in the initial wave of Steam machines. Quote, honestly, it's still getting worse, Valve engineer Yazan Aldahat recently told Bloomberg, quote, just in case people are not aware, what people are seeing on retail shelves right now from our observations is lagging what we are seeing from bulk supply by at least 3 to 6 months. It goes on further to basically explain that it is essentially being that RAM, storage, pretty much everything. And the reason being is all of this is going to AI data centers. It's just soaking up all of this supply. And why I think that this is important to kind of go back to that initial point of the Creation Engine 3 is that everything is getting more expensive. As we all know, when things get more expensive, that means that people aren't going to be able to afford this. The Steam Machine is not selling it's not selling gangbusters like I think Valve was hoping, mainly because it cost over $1,000 for what is basically just like a PlayStation 5 that can run Steam. So like, which is great, don't get me wrong, like I would love to have that in my living room. I would have more opportunity to sit my fat ass on my couch and not walk down a flight of stairs to log into my computer, which is cool, but at the same time, this is a really big issue. And I think that if we're moving in a direction where, let's say Bethesda is creating an engine that requires tech and hardware to be higher of like output, I think that this is going to blow up in their face.
Xbox is going to be like, fuck no. No, right. You don't. No, you don't.
It's because then the game's not going to sell anything because no one's going to be able to buy it. And I think this is one, and we goes back to this point that I think I've made it quite a few times on the show about basically being like, when it comes to AI is going to take away all these jobs, which is then going to balloon the unemployment rate, which is then going to mean fewer people are going to be able to afford to purchase the products that are being made by AI. So it's kind of a death spiral of being like, we're going to invest more into AI, getting rid of employees, but then the employees now can't afford to purchase anything, which means we're then going to lay off more people to the point that we're just going to, basically it's a race to the bottom. And I think Bethesda's probably the biggest developer right now that might be facing that head on. What do you think? I mean, what do you think about all of this? I mean, with everything, do you think it's going to get better?
I think every if you think of any game that's taken you over 100 hours and you're waiting for the next game that studio's making, that they are all having the same problem. What I hope, if anything positive comes from this situation, like, God, at least there's maybe one positive, is that maybe this forces studios to like reevaluate like length of games. We've hit a ceiling where, you know, obviously now we're forced to hit that ceiling with just cost of hardware. Like, how visually insane does this game need to look for people to enjoy it? And I think there is an opportunity here to sort of take a step back from that and say like, hey, like, we can still make a product that people love to play, and it can run on a lot of people's consoles. That's what they're going to want to have, right? I still see a list of SKUs that we'll have for different versions of whatever. For example, PlayStation will have multiple PlayStation options. A pro model, maybe they don't have as many of those being made, but whatever they make in the future, like, needs to be able to run on my PS5, on my PS5 Pro. Like, it's going to have to, because I'm not buying a PlayStation 6 day one. Like, I'm not. Like, I think it doesn't make any sense. I don't think the studios can even afford to make something that seems like, seriously, like, with everything going on, like, I just don't see a big reason to jump over. And I think studios are feeling that too, and trying to figure out what are we going to lose? Where are we going to cut out? But where do we gain something? And I think we're just cutting out the wrong things, obviously, right now. But maybe we get to that point where, like, all right, this game doesn't need to be 100 hours long and doesn't need to have, like, all the ray tracing and bullshit in it to be great. Like I said, let's instead of a million NPCs, like, let's just have 150 great ones that just really take you on these best quests and, like, are compelling. Like, I can go on, but, like, that's what I hope happens here.
Well, no, I think it's a very valid point you're making, because if I think of, like, two of probably the most prolific games in terms of, like, length of time, one of those is like World of Warcraft. They haven't reimagined, like, they haven't really done much with that.
Great example.
And that game's been around for forever. They're still dropping DLC or expansion packs for a game that looks like you would have played it late PlayStation 2, early PlayStation 3 era. So, like, there's that. But then I think of, like, probably more recent examples of, like, looking at something like Dead by Daylight that was like, hey, we're going to be doing a graphics enhancement for a big thing that we're dropping next year, but we have, like, 50 killers now and 100 survivors and 1 billion maps. Like, we've just been giving you content drop after content drop, but they're pricing it in a way that makes sense of, like, the DLC. You want to get the DLC, it's like $5 to $10. And you drop that every few months, and it's like, yeah, that makes way more sense than a battle pass. They cost $10 a month, So, like, that to me, I don't think is, like, sustainable. I think Rocket League's another great example of, like, you don't have to reinvent the wheel as long as you're giving good content and what people want. And I think that developers, and probably more so just, like, the big three, Sony, Xbox, and Nintendo, have been pushing this narrative forward that, like, a game's not good unless it looks better than it did before. But we've seen this resurgence in games of, like, especially games that are like PlayStation 1 graphic games are getting this, like, huge pop right now. We saw years ago when the 32-bit or the 16-bit game era with, like, Shovel Knight or even Dave the Diver.
Yeah.
Like, there's great games that don't look, that aren't hyper realistic.
They're not Horizon, Call of Duty, Forbidden West, right? I think that game pops into my mind all the time, because I'm like, that and Last of Us Part 2, best looking games of all time. Like, and I'm like, I don't think we can surpass this. Like, I know obviously we can, but, like, do we need to? Like, this is as real as I want to get. But yeah, there's so many games that you can go through, like, a stylized approach. Realism isn't the thing that everyone is chasing. I guess we'll find out what Grand Theft Auto does to the industry next, because, whatever it does, people are all the people that think they know how games make money and how to run a studio. They're gonna be like, do that next. But whatever.
I'm worried of what Grand Theft Auto is gonna do. I'm worried that it will melt my base PlayStation 5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
very
not
valid
super
concern
excited about that, because I do think there's a chance that it could destroy it. But then again, I think of a developer like Rockstar is one of the few developers that probably has optimized it to the point that it won't. Because I played Red Dead Redemption 2 on my base PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
And it was at the very end. It sounded like a jet engine when I turned it on, but it looked incredible on it still. So maybe I do believe maybe they're the only developer that could pull it off. Do you have any more thoughts on that before we move to our last news story of the night?
Oh, let's go.
All right. Well, let me first say shout out to Searshard and Kayla Gray. Glad you guys made it in tonight. You've made it into our last news article, and this topic is called Nintendo Isn't Your Fucking Uncle. You all needed that reminder again, didn't you?
Yeah.
Uh,
Did you title it that?
yes,
That's
that's my
excellent.
title. Yeah, this is gonna be a recurring title. For this is like the fact that people just will be like, look at good guy Nintendo, and it's like, where the fuck have you
When
been?
have they been? Who's not greedy motherfuckers out here? Like, who's
Correct.
not? Who's surprised by this? Who's butthurt about it? Didn't expect it. Not me.
I think the reason why people think that Nintendo's like is a good guy is because we're not constantly hearing about Nintendo laying off all their developers. That's I think the only reason why people say that.
well,
So
they
this
play it
article
safe.
they do. This article comes from Tom Phillips over at IGN. The article is Switch 2 customers have no right to U.S. tariff refunds, Nintendo argues, as they received exactly what they bargained and paid for. This is going to be an interesting one because of
I don't remember bargaining. What word am I saying? This is why I don't.
I think you're trying to say
bargaining. Brother bargaining.
You can't believe it's not. You can't believe it's not bargaining. It's bargering.
That's great. This is iconic.
All right. Nintendo might be receiving a refund for the money it spent on U.S. tariffs, but it claims it's under no obligation to pass that money back to consumers, even though they paid higher prices for Switch 2 products. Shortly before launch last year, Nintendo raised the price of Switch 2 accessories and subsequently announced a price rise for the original Switch. The company, like every electronics manufacturer, has seen its financial margins under pressure due to rising component prices, and last year, the U.S. tariffs rolled out by the Trump administration. Switch 2 pre-orders in the U.S. and Canada were even delayed as a result. A year later, and the U.S. Supreme Court has now deemed those tariffs were legal, with refunds promised to businesses who paid them from a collective $160 billion tariff refund. But what about the consumers who paid more? In response to tariffs, a proposed class action lawsuit is brewing, calling for Nintendo to share its refund with Switch purchasers, but the company itself has said it has no reason to do so. Quote, the common thread among plaintiffs' claims is that it is somehow unfair, Nintendo wrote. Quote, that Nintendo has not retroactively adjusted its prices for completed sales in response to the outcome of the tariff litigation, but that is how commercial transactions work. Nintendo or one of its retailers set a price for each product, and consumers decided whether that price was worth paying. Those who bought Nintendo's products received exactly what they bargained and paid for: a console, game, and/or accessory at a price to which both parties agreed. The money plaintiffs paid represents the purchase price of the goods they wanted and received. Plaintiffs are not entitled to a rebate simply because of intervening legal developments related to tariffs, end quote. They go on to argue that essentially that they've also had to increase, or like that part of the increases is also playing into the rising costs of tech hardware like RAM, storage, things like that. And so they go on to say that. But basically saying, we charged this price, you paid it. Just because we're getting money from the government because of the thing that they did does not mean that we should. So, Jerica, if you don't mind, I'm going to take the next moment to break down economics, because in a very rare turn of events, I am actually going to side with Nintendo on this. And
I'm on Nintendo's side. I'm on it too. Let's go.
I love this. So let's explain exactly what this means. So, what happens is Nintendo creates a product, let's say the Switch 2. Nintendo decides it's going to sell the Switch 2 to said customer. The United States government steps in and says, whoa, whoa, whoa. If you're going to sell your product to a resident of the United States, we need a cut of that money. What Trump has said is that Nintendo will pay that. And in theory, they do. However, they increase the price of the product, say Switch 2, and then charge that to the consumer. Now, because we found that it's illegal, there's all this tariff money that Trump now has to give back. So instead of giving it to the consumer who actually paid for it, they're going to give it to the businesses that charged it to the consumer. And let me tell you why. It's because if Trump were to pay you, the consumer, with this money, then he would have to admit that he lied the entire time that the businesses were going to pay for it.
Huh?
We are all sheep that have been led to the slaughter, and we're now mad at the business who was like, we're just getting free money. And I'm sorry, but we are a business. We are not going to give that to you. We should not be suing Nintendo. We should be suing the United States government.
Yes.
Thank you.
I don't have anything to add. That's it. Close it.
Wild. I'm so baffled by this.
I mean, what if the game starts, what if the game ends up being better after an update? Do we pay them more money at that point because the game's better? Like, is that how it works? Like that, I don't understand I was reading multiple articles trying to wrap my head around that. And I'm like, that's not Nintendo's responsibility, y'all. That's all of ours. It's us, and really, like, they're getting this money, right? I know. Here's the deal. We need money. Both of us need money. And I'm sure all y'all watching, listening need money. But Nintendo needs that money too. I mean, the shit's expensive. That's what we just talked about.
Right.
Like, if we want more, the next Mario game, like, hey, I'm glad they're getting some money back. Cause, like, listen, shit's expensive. We just talked about it. But I'm in agreement with you, Cayman. I don't understand that argument. Yeah.
So I saw this. I was reading this post that someone, I think it might have been Gene Park. He had this post saying like his own like retort about how it was going. And some got comments underneath, and he was like, "I voted for Trump in 2016. I voted for Trump in 2020. I voted for Trump in 2024, and I'll vote for him again in 2028. But this is some bullshit." Brother, it's bullshit. It's bullshit because you're fucking the dude that it's like, it's the meme of putting the stick in the spoke of the tire of the bicycle and then be like, God damn it. Like, we're doing that in real time.
Are we AI eating ourselves?
Probably. Probably.
Are we real right now? Like, I don't know. Things keep happening. And I'm like, that can't be real every single day.
It's also worth pointing out, too, that Nintendo is about to bump up, I think, by $50 the Switch 2 cost September 1st. So if you want to avoid paying an additional $50 to Nintendo, you might want to get your Switch 2 now. I'm going to point out, Sears Shard Chat says Nintendo probably raised the price of the console right before launch because of this, but we wouldn't know. Unfortunately, AI-assisted horrors persist, so now the price is high because of components. The Switch 2 is still the best deal in console gaming at the moment, which is fucking hilarious anyways. That is also fair. Well, maybe not. I don't know if I'd necessarily say it's the best deal in console. I think the Steam machine is. No, I'm just kidding. No, I don't think there's enough games on the Switch. I think the Switch 2 has its own series of issues that we aren't necessarily looking at. But I think ultimately the big thing here is that, like, yes, AI is dooming us all. Also that your parents on Facebook can post pictures of their heads on, like, chicken bodies, Like, this is what we're doing. People are using AI for therapy because we can't afford therapists. This is the world we live in. But we're going to scream at Nintendo about this when it's like, there are legitimate companies we can be screaming at. Like, there are legitimate companies that are ushering this wave in. And I was reading this article the other day, I forget, I think it was in Business Insider. It was basically stating, like, companies are now starting to, like, realize that maybe AI isn't what it's cracked up to be. That, like, they're having now because, Oracle and, you have, like, Oracle and you have, like, OpenAI, they can't charge, or they can't afford to not charge now for use of AI. And because of that, these companies are like, wow, this is really fucking expensive to use. And it's like, well, yeah, no shit. For you to fire these engineers, you're going to have to pay quadruple in price to have AI, like, do the same job. So where's it? My hope is that by 2030, we'll see this, like, we're back again, where it's like, all right, AI is a luxury that maybe something can use, but, like, we're not going to use it because it's better to be a human and have humanity than being more concerned about how many dollars we can save. Humanity, or how many bucks we can put in shareholders' pockets.
Can barely add an email account to their fucking phone. We can't use AI. No one's using it, right? We're just wasting time and money. No one can do it. They can't even talk to it. I can barely talk to Siri, so I know Debbie barely can. if I can barely do it. Debbie's my mother. But
hell yeah, Debbie. Shout outs.
I will say I'm in total alignment. And last thing I'll say, I know PlayStation's like, thank fucking God, just a day that we can get a break from hearing about about the disc. Yeah, y'all get mad at Nintendo. Xbox is like, oh, thank God. At least we don't have to hear about, closing down every studio known to man and cutting jobs. Nintendo's now doing dirty things, but they're really not. I am saying they brought in. Nintendo didn't need bad press. They didn't deserve this.
This is one of the only times that I've like legitimately been like, Nintendo's actually like not the bad guy in this situation. More often than not, it is Nintendo's the bad guy too. This is one of the few times, and I don't know. It struggled, and we'll we're gonna hear soon enough. Sony will be back in the news for something stupid. Microsoft will be back in the news for something stupid. It's just a matter of time for the carousel spins back around. But I think where we stand, this was a very like outside of learning a little bit more about Fallout. I do think it's been a bit of it somber of a news cycle, but literally I don't think it hasn't been lately. Like the industry, I think we're like watching it and like I'm hoping that we look back in this in 2030 and we're like, hell yeah, we were so wrong.
Yeah.
We were so wrong that all of these things were happening in real time. We were so wrong. Look at it now. It is blooming. It's beautiful. But I do fear unless there's a reckoning, I worry that we're going to get to a point where by 2030, only the ultra wealthy are going to be able to play video games anymore. We are going to be, I think it's Brazil, that it's like a cost of a console is like several $1,000s. And so people just still are playing like Super Nintendo games. Like that's going to be us in the United States.
You better get to liking Mario Party more and just,
fuck off.
We'll play Mario Party for the rest of our lives.
I suppose so. Well, Jerica, that brings us to the conclusion of tonight's episode. Thank you for being here with me. I always love being able to do these episodes with you. I feel like we always have such a good time. Thank you, audience, for staying around with us. I'm sorry that we didn't end on a more positive note.
Hey, me and you are gonna do a special Blair Witch thing in the future. We can tease that. That's gonna be so badass. Yeah. Oh, Blair Witch Project. Whose fans? Hope a lot of you are.
Jerica and I have been scheming behind the scenes and haven't told anyone else at Dido that we're taking over
telling
to do
you now.
Special Blair Witch.
Yeah.
We're going to do a Blair Witch retrospective together.
Oh, God. I'm moist.
It's going to be very good.
Real moist.
It's the moistest I can
My nostril is leaking. I'm going to have a leaky nose the whole time and just be talking like this.
Did I tell you that I had a perforated sinus, so when I was doing my mouthwash, it was leaking out of my nose?
God, no.
Yeah, I'll tell you more about that later off air. There's some more details that Control doesn't want to hear. That being said, I hope all of you have a wonderful night. If you want to check out more of the show, like I said, you can find us on Twitch at 8 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays, 8:30 on Thursdays at twitch.tv/dropindropoutpod. You can go to dropindropoutpod.com where you can find more of our things and such. You can find merch if you want to help support the show, or join us on Discord. Join our Drop In Drop Out Pod Discord. It is constantly popping off to the point that I can't even keep up with it.
Yeah, me neither. If anyone's trying to talk to me, it's because I can't.
You need to tag me by name because I will not see that post.
Tag me by name. If I'm not tagged, I don't see it.
I get overwhelmed easy, and that's how I feel when I look at our Discord because it's so exciting because everyone is having a good time.
Exactly.
So come and join us there. Outside of that, Jerica, any last words that you'd like to impart on the audience?
Drink plenty of water. It's the silent killer, I think. Truly, being dehydrated.
Like Jerica said, drink a big old glass of piss. Have a good night, everybody.